Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, wishing you a happy healthy start to this Wednesday. It's time to get hump, baby. It's time to get some hump action on because it is Wednesday indeed. And there is actually a few major things to be speaking about today. In fact, today is actually a rather big day because as we're going to be looking at soon enough, these statistics would suggest that if Bitcoin is going to see continuation, we very likely see it today, if not tomorrow, if it's going to be happening at all. That is to say that if Bitcoin essentially stalls here in the next 48 hours, well, you're probably going to see the forces of gravity take over. Anyways, other than that, I want to once again give the spotlight to the Jewel Lite, which you can actually get for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. And then obviously it'll also give you 0% on maker fees for derivative contract orders on the good old exchange Bybit. And speaking of the Jewel Lite, I actually want to start off this analysis with the Jewel Lite setup because there is one right in front of our faces as of right now. It's on the 6-hour time frame, and in this case, we can see that the 6-hour Jewel Lite obviously got well below that 35 read over here, which is what we do designate for a bit of an entry alongside a few other pieces of criteria, but that is obviously the first one. And on this particular one, if I put on my actual script, there we go, we can see that there has been an official an official setup right there. Now that of course is going to be in conjunction with a few other things. So first and foremost, again, the actual setup is this: Jewel Lite getting below 35, turning white on the first tick. You'll notice, however, that it actually did not enter on the first tick that was white. That is because there's a secondary entry condition for this particular script, which does necessitate the PMARP be below 50 right here, which it was on the next subsequent closure, and the Jewel Lite was still white on that one. So that's why this particular one did fire off right there, just above 30,000 bucks even right there. So anyways, within the context of this one, we can go and reference the statistics over here, and over 79 trades, which I believe spans the last couple of years. Yeah, the last few years right here. There was about a 73.5% strike rate with this particular setup, with a net profit of 400,000. Again, these numbers are based off of starting equity of, I believe, 400,000 and a base position size of about 300,000, or not about 300,000. It was quite literally 300,000. So that's what these numbers are being simulated from. Like it's not just like being pulled out of fucking nowhere. Just to be 100% clear, so that people don't get the wrong idea. Anyways, in this particular one, when I went through the actual performance summary, the average winning trade was about 5%. 5%. Let me just find where it is. Yep, about a little over 5% right there, with a top end of 8%. I did have a max take profit at around 8% for this particular one. And if we go in the actual, and if we go and simulate this right here, taking 30,000 bucks as that setup, well, 5% would put you where, or about where? And that would put you at about 31,500. 8% would put you, or Bitcoin. Yeah, not you, but Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes there. You don't go fuck all. No, you do nothing. 32,500. So a bit of a range right there of of kind of areas of interest, if you will, to the upside. Again, when we're talking about averages, there's going to be some variance in there, obviously. So it might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. But again, the top end was 8%. That was max, because that's what I actually programmed it for. And then, of course, on the average, a little bit above 5%. So, if you're looking at a first standard deviation, probably somewhere between like 4.5 to 6, something like that would probably make sense. Anyways, so first and foremost, whenever you have a setup like this, and there is a, in my opinion, a rather high strike rate at 73.5% almost, I always want to say this is not the same thing as 100%. So there needs to be some sort of way to invalidate a particular setup like this. And in this case, it's pretty damn simple, actually. In fact, I do think that being more aggressive on the invalidation would be warranted in this case, and anywhere below 30,000 bucks on a 6-hour time frame closing basis would certainly do it for me. If you want to go by the book, though, it would be 29,100, the low from yesterday, essentially. And if Bitcoin does start to close below there, very likely we're going to be looking at a move, significantly further down, somewhere to the low 28. So another $1,000 slide from that number, about $1,000, I should say, if that does happen. So as always, when it comes to these setups, what I really want to be getting out about this is that it's very important. It's just as valuable to know the success terms as much as the failure terms, because plans can be, created amongst both sides. It's just obviously in this case, the upside has a higher probability here. Anyways, moving on to the next chart, we can go back and reference the 5-day Gaussian channel, in this case on CME. And I just thought that it was rather interesting because this one is closing tonight. So if we are going to be expecting it to move, it probably happens in the short term here over this next 5-day period. I would say no more than that. And where's the top end of the 5-day Gaussian channel? Well, guess where that is? 32,500. So we're seeing these numbers start to match up with each other. And why is 32,500, or should I say the top end of the 5-day Gaussian channel, even relevant to be talking about? Well, anytime that we have seen the 5-day time frame reclaim the mean band on the Gaussian channel after it turned red, it has gotten a free ride to the top side. In some cases, very, very quickly. In some cases, not so quickly, like this one over here, less quickly compared to this one over here, which did in basically like 2 shots. But going back to CME's chart over here, you can see that Bitcoin's very, 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 very close to it, or did get very, very close to it on the last drive to the upside, a little bit above 31,000 bucks, but still, that would be at around 32.5. So again, in this next 48-hour period, if we are going to be looking for that move to about 32,500-ish region, probably happens within that time frame, or at least really gets going here. So we'll go over the next criteria of acceptance soon enough. I did want to accurately represent the other side as well, because in this case, when we go and look at the daily time frame, there are several drives of bearish divergence starting to form right here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming off the last few highs, and well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's actionable just yet, but when it does become actionable, that's going to be a pretty healthy pretty healthy move to the downside. Where does it become actionable? Below 29,100, below 21,900 again. If that does happen, we're going to be looking at a much greater pullback. But until then, probabilities still favor one more move to the upside, maybe somewhere around on the lower end, 31,500, on the upper end, about 32,500 before the next sort of short term, I shouldn't say short term, but medium, maybe even daily consolidation gets going. Anyways, moving on now, I did want to get into the stochastic momentum pivots. And again, accurately representing the potential for downside here, we can see that the daily time frame will turn down below or remain to the downside below 30,600. I really want to take a second to speaking about this a little bit more aggressively here, because that would imply that if we are going to see continuation, we probably see Bitcoin close above that pivot today. Right now, CME is trading about 300 bucks below that, or about 350 below that. As it's currently 32.50, and yeah, the pivot to the upside is about 30,600 or so. So if you're looking for the next sort of point of data that suggests that the upside is going to be a lot more likely, you'd want to see the daily time frame close above this level right here, 30,600. 12-hour time frame also going to be showing downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below 30,900. 6-hour time frame actually going to be showing upside above 29,500. 4-hour time frame also going to be showing upside above 29,600, and hourly time frame is going to be actually down as well. 30,440 is going to be the magical number right there. So we see a lot of differences, bifurcation between these different time frames. So I'm not really getting any clear and obvious read right there, but I guess the most obvious one would be if Bitcoin comes back down below 29.5, 29.6 region, then everything will be in unison to the downside. And at that point, you probably are going to see at least a move back down to 29,000 base, and then if you see closures below there, extend that another $1,000 before the next sort of healthy bounce, if you will. Anyways, going into the daily HPDR range indicators as well, I thought that this one played rather well hand in hand with the data that we're already looking at. And as you can see right here, the median's coming in right around about 30,700, very, 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 very close to the daily momentum pivot, as you can see over here. In fact, on spot price action, it might be, it actually pretty much is that number. So again, closing above this region right here, about 30,600, 30,700 region, very likely you're going to see the next move up to the to these range highs, or at least somewhere around these range highs would make sense. And guess where that is? 32,800 actually, so a little bit higher than the 32.5 region, but there's going to be wicks and whatnot either which way. By the same token, to the downside, if Bitcoin starts to really take back, and close dailies below, I'd even say 29.7, or even maybe even 30,000 bucks. At that point, very likely you're going to see move back down to about 28,100, 28,200 region. Probably an attempt for a bounce there, and then I'd want to come back to it after that. Maybe we extend that another 1,500 bucks lower. But ultimately, that's why I do say this next 24, maybe 48-hour period is incredibly important for the boo laws here. If you're going to see more upside, it very likely starts, today, latest tomorrow. If Bitcoin flounders around this region, and it's like Friday, Saturday, downside is going to start to become a lot more attractive. So it is a bit of a ticking time bomb right here, at least in the way that I look at things. Anyways, yeah, so that's a good place for me to be leaving off yet again. It's been an absolute pleasure on this lovely Wednesday, Thursday, whatever the fuck day it is. Doesn't matter what fucking day it is. It's just another day. It's just another day with another name of a day, and who knows what the hell that even means. Doesn't mean nothing because it's a human construct, and well, they're all fucking humans constructs, aren't they? So I guess it does mean something. Anyways, I'm just ranting right now. I apologize on that. I do want to wish you the best wishes as always. However, take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.